Good morning, good morning, good morning. You guys come on in. Come on in. All this hair, honey, Jesus. It's early for Dr. V. I know y'all are like, Dr. V, what are you doing up? Y'all listen, my life. This has been my life for the past, I don't know how long, up at 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning, like just trying to make myself stay in the bed, okay? Come on in. Let me know who's here. Great morning, Kim. How are you, beautiful? Let me know who's here. Let me know who's here, where you're tuning in from. Let me know who's here and where you're tuning in from. Y'all come on in. Come on in. I'm getting ready to share. Come on in. So let me tell y'all why I'm on here, why I'm doing this drive-by. I really was trying to mind my own business. I was trying to mind my own business. Listen, I was not trying to do this morning. Oh, y'all see how red I am? Oh my goodness. But there's something that I know that's right, Kim. There's something that God really needs us to understand. Hey, Elisa, how are you? Yes, Georgia in the house. I know that's right. So there's something that God needs his people to understand. This morning when I woke up, I know, girl, listen, something is going on, okay? So there's something that God needs. I'm not warm. I'm actually freezing. You see, I got a sweatshirt on. I'm freezing. I'm cold. I'm cold, but I'm super, super red. God this morning was ministering to me, and he ministered me from Isaiah 55. We're going to read that, and then I'm going to let God do what he wants to do, because there is a word for his people. And many people find themselves in a place where they are frustrated, they are overwhelmed. I'm listening to people, I'm talking to people, and all of these people are experiencing this barrage of things happening to them, happening in their life, affecting their resources, their households, all of that, right? And so this is the word that God gave me today to give to his people, because everybody is in need of something, right? So hold on, y'all. Oh shoot, I didn't share. Hold on, y'all. Y'all see that love? A word that comes and goes. Yeah, hold on. I meant to put this up earlier and I didn't, so I apologize. All right, so let me share over here. Okay, so Isaiah 55. And y'all share this broadcast. Before I start reading, y'all share the broadcast. Because God is going to do something. Share the broadcast. So once you've shared, let me know you shared. The word says, and I'm reading from the New Living Translation. Let me make sure it's the New Living Translation for everybody. Okay, yeah. Isaiah 55. Is anyone thirsty? Come and drink. Even if you have no money, come take your choice of wine or milk. It's all free. Why spend your money on food that does not give you strength? Why pay for food that does you no good? Listen to me, and you will eat what is good. You will enjoy the finest food. Come to me with your ears wide open. Listen, and you will find life. I will make an everlasting covenant with you. I will give you all the unfailing love I promised to David. See how I used him to display my power among the people? Hold on. Let me scroll. Hold on. Let me get there. I made him a leader among nations. You also will command nations you do not know, and peoples unknown to you will come running to obey, because I, the Lord your God, the Holy One of Israel, have made you glorious. Seek the Lord while you can find him. Call on him now while he is near. Let the wicked change their ways and banish the very thought of doing wrong. Let them turn to the Lord that he may have mercy on them. Yes, turn to our God, for he will forgive generously. Now, this is it, y'all. Verse 8. I really need us. Notice I say us, not you. I need us to get this. Hold on. Let me scroll up. There we go. My thoughts are nothing like your thoughts, says the Lord, and my ways are far beyond anything you could imagine. For just as the heavens are higher than the earth, so my ways are higher than your ways, and my thoughts higher than your thoughts. The rain and snow come down from the heavens and stay on the ground to water the earth. They cause the grain to grow, producing seed for the farmer and bread for the hungry. It is the same with my word. I send it out, and it always produces fruit. It will accomplish all I want it to, and it will prosper everywhere I send it. You will live in joy and peace. The mountains and hills will burst into song, and the trees of the field will clap their hands. Where once were thorns, cypress trees will grow. Where nettles grew, myrtles will sprout up. These events will bring great honor to the Lord's name. They will be an everlasting sign of his power and love. Y'all, listen to me. It's some things that God is going to have us do that may not make sense to us. It may be some things that you're going through that do not make sense to you. It doesn't seem like God would do this. It doesn't seem like God would say this. It doesn't seem like God is for you because right now you're going through some stuff, or right now things don't look the way you want them to look. But I came to tell you, to give you a reassuring word that God is with you and that his thoughts are not like your thoughts. So you're looking at things and you're saying, oh my God, everything is horrible. All of these negative things are happening. You know, God, where are you? You're not with me. I must be out of your will. Like you're thinking all of these things that are not the case. Now, am I saying that you don't need to check yourself? You absolutely do. But what I'm telling you is the majority of you who are experiencing trauma and drama and stuff and finances being under attack and all kinds of things hitting at once, it's not because you are out of alignment with God. That's not what it is. What it is God is doing something that supersedes your understanding. And so it requires you to be in a place that you're uncomfortable being in so that he can produce something that he needs to produce in you. See, you got to have a different kind of faith in God in those tough times, right? It's easy to believe God and trust God when things are going well for you. It's easy to do that. But baby, when the stuff hits the fan and you find yourself in that place where you're like, well, you know, God, I don't know what you're doing, but this is a lot. And I don't know that I can handle this. And I don't know if I can do this. But I'm telling you, God is up to something. When I literally listened to a message. It was my radio show, right? Dr. V's place. Y'all remember when I was on In Touch Radio? So it was one of the morning shows yesterday. And it was talking about trust God even when you can't trace him, right? And when I tell y'all, I dropped some, I said, oh, this is good. I listened to the whole thing and I rarely go back and listen to anything I do. I do it and I'm on to the next thing. But God has had me in a season where I'm going back and listening to stuff. And so I listened to this message, and in the message, I heard stuff. I was like, whoa, stuff I needed yesterday. I needed it for myself, right? And so I literally was listening to the word that God was dropping in my spirit, was amazed at what was coming out of my mouth. And I said, God, wow, this is a right now word. It's a rhema word for me today on October 20th. And if you'll notice, I don't know if y'all have paid attention to this, but if you'll notice, what often happens is we find ourselves in places where it's almost as though we're going through the same things at the same time of the year. The exact same messages will apply. What happened this season, this time last year, you'll see it happening again this time the next year, or you saw it the last few years. And if you look back over all of your memories on Facebook, that's why I'm grateful for Facebook memories, because Facebook memories allows me to see what was happening in the past. Hold on, y'all, because I think one of the pages is stuck. So I might have to make a modification. So y'all bear with me for a moment. Bear with me for a moment. But God is up to something. So I said, okay, God, I'm going to be obedient. God has been telling me to get up. He said, I want you to go live at 5:55. I was like, God, I'm not trying to do that. That's literally what I was telling God. God, I'm not trying to do that. Yeah, I knew it was stuck. Father. Okay. So, yeah, this one's stuck. Okay. I'm trying to figure out how to get out of it because the whole computer is like stuck. But see, that's what the enemy will try to do when he doesn't want the word to go forth. But see, that lets me know all the more that this word that God has given me is a word that the people need. So now what I've got to do is I've got to be creative. See, we often have a tendency to stop because we encounter challenges. But what I've learned is when I encounter challenges, that's when I need to go hardest. That's when I need to get in the paint the most. That's when I need to trust God to work it out. That's when I need to press through. And so that's exactly what I'm getting ready to do. So y'all hold on one second. Let me get them with us, because I refuse for the people of God not to get what it is that God is trying to say to them. It's just it's too much. It's too much on the line for us not to get what God is doing in this season. And I refuse not to allow the word that God has put in my spirit for his people, hold on, to get to the people that need it. So, it is what it is. And so I've learned that when you got to do the press, you do the press. Oh, shoot. I forgot. On this one, I have to go in a different app. Hold on, y'all. God is not playing. God is not playing. God is literally positioning us to eat the good of the land. And that's what he wants for us. Hold on. Let me get there. There we go. Come on, y'all. Don't listen. God ain't playing. We gonna figure it out. We gonna make it work. Whatever we got to do to make it work, we're gonna make it work. And that's how you do that. So listen, this is what God said. Isaiah 55. When you understand that God's word is not going to return void, but it's going to accomplish everything that is sent forth to accomplish to the ends of the earth. When you understand that he literally his word is designed to move things for you. His word is designed to open things up for you, to reveal things, to expose things, to show you things. When you understand that your thoughts are not his thoughts, then you can understand that God is up to something. When you can't trace him, know that doesn't mean that he's not doing anything. But when you can't trace him, trust him. Trust him even when you can't trace him. Trust him even when you don't see him in the situation. Trust him even when it doesn't make sense. Trust him. See, we're putting listen to me. I'm just talking about me. Now, this may not be y'all. But I'm just talking about me. Let me talk about me for a minute. There are times when I will find myself putting my trust in me and my ability and in what I can do and what I know and what I've experienced and all of that. There are times when that happens, right? And sometimes what God will do, hear me, what God will do is he'll suppress everything I do in my own strength. Oh, you want to just do it in your strength? I'm going to shut it down. I'm going to block it. Nothing's going to go forward. You're going to be trying to figure out what's going on. Why would God do that? Because what he wants is not for us to trust in our strength, but to trust in him. not to trust in our works, but trust in the work that Jesus did on the cross. Now, it doesn't mean you don't do any work. It simply means that you do the work that God is telling you to do. You do it the way God tells you to do it. You listen, y'all out here, trying to follow every guru. And the problem is it's not working for you because God has told you another way to do it, but you want to do it the way they say you're supposed to do it because they've had success, but that may be the way they're supposed to do it, but not the way you're supposed to do it. I'm not saying don't follow anybody. I'm not saying don't use models. I'm not saying any of that. But what I am saying is if those things are outside of the realm of what God said, if they're not lining up with what God said do, then you do what God said do. You, me, we got to do what God said do. I can't force it. I've been in a season where I'm like, God, what is going on? But he's doing something. And when God is doing something, he's not going to allow it to flow until he's ready for it to flow, which means that you're prepared. In this season, if you're in a place of like held up, if you're in a place like held up, anybody in a place called held up, you feel like everything you're trying to do is held up. If you're in a place called held up, put me in the comments. If you're in a place called held up, put me in the comments. Put me in the comments. Maybe I'm the only one in the place called held up because I know I'm in a place called held up. I know there's stuff that's held up. I know there's stuff that God has for me that's held up that I'm not able to get to right now. If you're in the place called held up, put me in the comments. If that's you, put me in the comments. If you're in the place called held up, the place called on hold. Like you're on the phone line and they say, hold please for the next available operator. Come on, y'all. So listen, you're not by yourself. This is what I want you to see. When you're in that place, it feels like you're the only one there and everybody else is in this different place. But I'm going to tell you what I'm realizing. What I'm realizing is there's a lot more people in the place called held up and on hold please, for the next available operator than you think. You think you're out there by yourself. You think you're the only one. You think it's just you. You think that, you've done something wrong. God, did I offend you? God, what did I do wrong? And it's not that you did something wrong. It's that God is trying to do a new thing. But he can't do the new thing until the old thing is ended. He can't do the new thing until the old thing is processed. He can't do the new thing until he works some stuff out of you, heals some wound. Because otherwise, what you will do is you will go into the new thing with the old mindset and you'll bring the old stuff into the new thing. My God, today, this ought to bless somebody. Because let me tell you something. You're asking God for a husband, asking God for a wife. But listen, you ain't processed through the last relationship you were in. You haven't gotten rid of the stuff that's weighing you down from that relationship, the ways that they hurt you, the ways that you were injured or disappointed. So you want to bring all of that injury, all of that disappointment into the new thing, judge the new person by the old person's stuff, what they did, what happened in that relationship. And now you have brought the old stuff into the new thing. The new thing is no longer the new thing. The new thing is the old thing with a new name and a new person. But it's still the old thing. So God got you on hold. God's got us on hold. On hold so that he can work some things out of us. On hold so that we can see some stuff about ourselves. On hold so that we can recognize patterns. On hold. If you want to get off hold, if you want the things to flow, if you want God to release into your hands what he has for you, process. Let me use this example, this analogy. Hold on, y'all. Let me take this down. Let me take this. We'll come back to it. I can't see. Okay, let me just stop sharing. Okay. So let me use this analogy. When I'm trying to print something, right? My printer, because it may be like, you know how you have different printers connected, right? So when I'm trying to print something, if I'm trying to print something, but the first thing doesn't go through, the second thing can't process because the first thing hasn't gone through, right? And so it puts it on what? Hold. Now, the only way that the second thing is going to print is if the first thing prints or I clear that print job. The only way the second thing is going to print when there are two things in queue to print and the first thing hasn't printed. The only way the second thing is going to print is if the first thing either prints and then it can process the second thing, or I clear the first thing I was printing. I have to cancel that print job. I have to clear it out. Then the second thing can process, okay? Because the first thing is no longer in the way. It's no longer blocking it. Well, you guys, for some of us, there are things from our past that are blocking the release of the things that God has for you right now. I'm talking about things from years ago that's preventing us from fully moving forward in what God has for us. And until you either that first thing prints or you clear it, cancel that print job, clear it out so that there's no remnant of it. Even if it started printing, okay, y'all listen to me, this printer analogy. Even if it started printing and the paper got stuck, the second thing won't print until you remove the stuck paper. And if you've ever gone into a printer to remove some stuck paper and you just try to rip it out and then there's some little pieces of paper that's left in there and you may think that you got it all out, but something is stuck, it still won't finish printing until you find where it's stuck. You find what's left, those little pieces. A little piece of paper can block the print job from completing for the next thing. Just a little piece. It don't have to be a big piece of paper, just a little piece of paper that caught in there. This got stuck, you didn't move it out, and it's not going to allow you to move forward with the print job until you find that little piece of paper in whichever little crevice it is, and you remove that, and you have to shut the thing again, and then it's going to try to reboot, and if the paper is still there, it's still not going to print until you find what's blocking the printing process. There's some things blocking your process, but the things are not outside of you, they're inside of you. I'm not talking about other people. I'm talking about you. I'm talking about me. This is not an outside job. This is an inside job. See, there's a difference between there's no paper in the cartridge versus there's something stuck inside. You understand? So what I'm telling you is there's some things stuck inside that God is trying to get out. And unless you process those things, unless you clear those things out, you're not going to be able to walk in the fullness of what God has for you next. You're going to be on hold. Hold, please, for the next available operator. Until you do that. But it's free to do it. What does that mean, Dr. V? Listen, in Isaiah 55, the word of the Lord from the prophet Isaiah was, come, drink. If anyone be thirsty, let him drink. Even if you have no money, let him eat. You know what I'm saying? You're trying to buy food that is just going to pass through you, but it's not going to give you life. And I'm trying to give you life. And the life comes from the words, from the knowledge, from the wisdom, from the understanding. So there is a godly wisdom that God is trying to give us that if we miss the godly wisdom, we're going to miss the blessing. I told you guys yesterday, what I keep hearing from God is our harvest is connected to our healing. Our harvest is connected to our healing. There is a healing that God is trying to do in us, but there's some things that we got to process, some things that we got to clear out, some things that we got to cancel. Like there are all these things that are going on the inside of us that are preventing us from getting to the harvest. And we're wondering why the harvest looks so close, but yet so far. It's because there's some stuff on the inside that God is trying to do, some things that he wants to heal you from. Sometimes we just don't know. We just don't know. We don't know what we don't know. But there are things that we do know that we've not addressed, that we've not dealt with. So until we do that, guess what? We're on hold. It's held up. We're in the place called held up on hold. Okay? Because there's some things that we've got to do on the inside, so we don't mess up the new. The new is there. It's there. It's waiting for us. We're just not ready for it. Woo! The new is there. It's waiting for us. We're just not ready. Process that. So how do you get there? How do you get to the new? You must first deal with the old. And you can't just, say, oh, this is not just, it's not just about cutting. It's not just about cutting people or situations. It's not just about the cut. It's about the heal. It's about the heal. It's so funny. Little girl, she's, like 2, right? She fell and she hurt her knee. Well, it scraped the skin off and she was bleeding, right? Now, we know that the wound needed to be cleaned, but she didn't want the wound cleaned because she was anticipating the cleaning hurting. So because she anticipated it hurting, she's like, I don't want that, I don't want that, I don't want that, I don't want that, I don't want that. I don't want that, I don't want that, I don't want that, I don't want that. I don't want that, I don't want that, I don't want that, I don't want that. And no matter how much assurance she got that it wasn't going to burn, that it wasn't going to hurt, she's like, I don't want that, I don't want that, I don't want that. Because at some point she had a sore or something cleaned and it burned because it was alcohol. You understand what I'm saying? So immediately her reaction to the antiseptic pad was, I don't want that, I don't want that, I don't want that. Well, guess what? I can relate to her. I can relate to her. Now, you all may not be able to relate to her, but I can relate to her. I'm looking at situations and I'm like, I don't want that, I don't want that, I don't want that. I don't want to have to deal with this person. I don't want to have to deal with that situation. I don't want to have to deal. I don't want that, I don't want that, I don't want that. Ha. My God. Okay, God, I hear you. Because it reminds me of a previous place, a previous time. But this is the thing. God wanted to remind you of that in this season because he's trying to heal you. He's trying to heal you. He's trying to mend those broken places. While you hollering, I don't want that, I don't want that, I don't want that. That is the key to your next. The very things you don't want are the key to your breakthrough. The very things you don't want are the key to your harvest. The very things that you don't want are the key to your healing. The things you don't want. The things you don't want to see, you don't want to hear, you don't want to feel, you don't want to experience, the last time this happened, last time that happened, y'all, I'm just trying to help somebody, okay? I listen, I just want to help somebody. But first of all, he's helping me. See, this is how God works with me. Some stuff he'll tell me, some stuff he'll have me say, and when I say it, then I get it. I say, okay, all right, because he knows me. He knows how to talk to me. He knows how to get a point across to me, right? And he knows you. And he knows how to talk to you. And he knows how to get a point across to you. And that's what he's doing today. Is he's trying to get a point across. For whosoever will listen. Isaiah 55 is all about not just God's promises, but God understanding us. And the fact that he understands us so well and how we think, and we're like, God, I don't know, but his thoughts are not our thoughts, and his ways are not our ways. In the show that I was talking about that I listened to yesterday, I used a chess analogy. And y'all, when I give analogies, listen, I promise it ain't me. God the Holy Spirit drops it in me, and I say it, and I'm like, ooh, that's good, right? But I use a chess analogy. So God is playing chess, but we're playing checkers. And if you're playing the wrong game, if you're on the wrong board, you're going to miss what's really happening, right? So we're on a checkerboard. He's on a chessboard. Checkers is our thoughts. Chess is his thoughts, because he already knows the end from the beginning. He already knows what's going to happen. He already knows all the moves that are going to be made. He knows that. He doesn't make those moves happen, but he knows what moves are going to happen. So what we've got to understand is, in order for us to fully tap into what God is doing in this season, we've got to do what? A new thing. We've got to get off the checkerboard and get on the chessboard, but you can't get off the checkerboard till you figure out, I'm on a checkerboard and I need to exit this board. and I need to go over here to this board, right? Because this is where God is. This is where God is operating. And some of us don't want to make any moves. We don't want to make any moves. We don't want to make any adjustments. We don't want to do that. But when you do that, that changes the game. That allows you to get what God has for you. That allows you to, be in position to receive the new. The word of God says that you can't pour new wine in old wineskins because there's not enough room to expand. Oh, God. Okay. Anyway, God, I don't know. God talking to me, y'all. There's not enough room to expand. The skin isn't pliable enough because it's already been stretched to its capacity. So what happens is when you put the new wine in, while it's expanded, it explodes the old wineskin because it doesn't have the capacity to hold what's new. And we will explode too if we do not allow God to give us new wineskin. If we don't let him make us into new wineskin. We got to clip all the old out and let him make us new. It is the beauty of belonging to God. It is the beauty of walking in his presence. It is the beauty of housing his spirit. That's the beauty. It's that he makes all things new. Ooh, he makes all things new so that we can experience what it is that he has for us. So with that said, I haven't done this in a while, but he told me to do it. So I'm going to do it, right? If you would like an individual word from God, put a 1 in the comments, and I'll give you whatever it is that he gives me to give to you. If you want an individual word from God, put a 1 in the comments, and I'll give you what he gives me to give to you. I'm excited because he's already spoken to me. I'm like, okay, God. Okay. Here we go, God. Wow. Okay. Kim, first of all, you need to know that God is well pleased with you. He's pleased with you because you have taken the steps that he has been trying to get you to take. And now, listen, this is what he needs from you in order for you to really go to that next level. He needs you to allow him to heal those broken places. There are some deep wounds. There are some deep wounds that you've not allowed him to heal. Like, you've given him certain stuff, but there are some things that you hold back on that you won't give to him. And those are the areas that he wants. And what you'll know the areas because what's been happening lately as things have happened that remind you of that space, that triggered that space, or the feeling that you felt in that space. But there's a healing that he wants to do in you. This is why the book is held up. The book is held up because there's a healing that he needs to do so that you can release the book and release it without the hurt. So that you can release it without the hurt. Let him heal those wounds. Let him heal those wounds. And just be obedient. Do what he tells you and watch how he moves. Christine, I don't know why. So friend, I know you're tired. And it's a different kind of tired. But I'm telling you, you are so close. And this is what God needs you to really understand is the more you do it the way he told you, the more you're going to walk into the fulfillment. The more you do it the way he tells you, the more you're going to be able to walk into the fulfillment. And I'm going to tell you, in the next, I see by the end of November, there are going to be some big changes for you. There are going to be some big changes for you. And you need to allow the changes to occur. And I'm not talking about just stuff outside of you. I'm talking about stuff inside of you, right? There's some things that you've not processed. You've not gotten rid of. Like, it's like little pieces of paper, and it's not big stuff. Like, it's not like, oh, you've got this sin in your life. It's not that. It's small pieces of paper that are left over from wounds that are stuck in the roller. They're in a like a spot in the printer that is hard to find, right? But again, what's been happening lately is you've been thinking about certain people or thinking about certain situations, and that's God bringing that stuff to your remembrance so he can bring it up so that you can process it and deal with it and remove those small pieces of paper so that the things that you desires of your heart, are on the other side of dealing with that stuff. So close. You so close, friend. You so close. Get ready. Y'all, this is what I know. I don't know everything. I promise you I don't. I'm not trying to act like I do. I don't see everything. I'm not God. I'm not omniscient. I'm not all knowing. I'm not omnipresent. I'm not ever present everywhere. But I know what I hear God say. Like I know what I know. I know what I know, right? And what I know is that we're all closer than we know. And the things that we're going through are opportunities for us to grow and to get some things in alignment for what God has in store for us. You got to create space for what you want in your life. You've got to act as though it's already done, because it is. And you got to know that God's got you, but his thoughts are not your thoughts. Your thoughts are not his thoughts, and his ways and your ways are not his ways. The way he does it is not the way you necessarily want it done. That's not how he works. So just know that God's got you, and he's got you for real. Listen, you all, I am so glad that I was able to just be obedient to my daddy, okay, in some form, because I was not all the way obedient, but listen, I did it, daddy, okay? I just am so grateful for you all. And I just declare God's blessings over your life. The word has already given us so many promises that we just don't appropriate. It's time to appropriate those promises and know that God is God, and let him be God. Because listen, that's where the blessing is. The blessing is in letting God be God. Okay. So I love you guys to life and life more abundant. Have an amazing, blessed, and prosperous day, and know that God is for you and not against you. And his word will not return void, but it will accomplish everything that it is sent forth to accomplish. Stand on that and know that it's done. It's finished already. I love you guys. Be blessed.